Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Try Evil Bank Manager. I want to reboot my Let's Try playlist and try some new things and just show them to you guys. So we're doing the two games that I'm doing today, both Evil Bank Manager, and then there's another one called Sigma Theory. Both of those videos will be on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And we're going to give them a try and see what it's all about. We'll play for about 3 hours on Twitch for each one, but the YouTube videos will be we're going to kind of close off the YouTube video after about an hour. I'll go through each game, kind of explain how it works, and you guys can decide if you like it. And if you do, there's a link in the description of the video to go and get it if you want it. So, Evil Bank Manager is a fairly simple to understand game. You are a bank with no morals, of course, and you're tasked with the ambition to rule and dominate the world. It takes place sort of like medieval times era. This is like a pre-Renaissance era, so to speak. So you're not going to find yourself with any guns and stuff, but you are going to influence wars as well as take over property, give out lots of loans at the highest interest rates possible, etc., and attempt to get rid of your banking competition. Quick look at settings. It does, if it looks like it's a low resolution kind of thing, it's because it is. In fact, 1080p is the biggest this thing goes for graphics. So this video is being released in 1080p too, because there's no point in going higher than that, is there? Let's go to new game. We have 8 choices for our starting countries, but it's important to note that you are not a country. You are a bank. You are a private enterprise. You're simply based in sort of one of these nations. And you don't even have to be based in one of these nations, actually. You're mostly just choosing your bonuses here. So for example, Conqueror gives you 25% lower cost in England. You have one for Diplomat, that's France. Capitalist gives you the same bonuses in Austria. Financier does Castile. Militarist does the Min, or Min Dynasty, if you will, Min. Mercenaries do the Mongols. You have the Magnet, which gives you the same bonus in Korea. And then Manager is for Japan. You also have independent bonuses for each one of these things. So Conqueror will give you the ability to get new countries 25% cheaper, or to start branches. You're not getting countries, you're starting branches in new countries. And you're having diplomatic influence and pressure in those countries. You can get more influence in politics if you go with the diplomat route, less resources for capitalists. You get extra cash at the end of every year, 1% more cash if you go with financier, manager, mercenaries. These all have different bonuses you can choose from. When I was playing around with it before, I went with Conqueror. It was a starting one, and it seemed like it was a good idea to have lower costs here. But I want to do something different this time, just because it changes up the game for me. So I'm going to go with, let's go with Manager, Japan. So I don't even know if we can start in Japan, but it's a smaller country, so maybe I'll get lucky, I can start there. But if not, we can always expand there, and then our branches in that country will cost less, so it might be kind of cool. All right, I think that's probably fine. We'll go ahead and this gives us the development of departments is 20% lower cost. So we'll be able to increase and upgrade our departments cheaper, so theoretically faster. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go ahead and hit play. Choosing difficulty, I'm gonna go with hard, because I feel like for the few hours I've played around with it, I feel like I have a decent understanding of it. And the game actually has a little bit, I'll go with this. It doesn't have a whole lot of depth as far as I'm concerned. Oh, look at this music. This is different music than when you start as Conqueror. This is like more Asian-centered music. Gotcha. Cool. So you could see that those were divided in East and West, and it sounds to me like this is what happens when you start in the East. Cool. There is a tutorial here. I'm gonna skip it because I think I can probably just explain it to you guys. And for the purposes of this, I think we'll go with... We're in Japan, so something that sounds Japanese. Why not? How about Takoyama Investments Incorporated? That sounds Japanese. Okay, so I'll just briefly go through the interface because there's a lot of things to look at here. Also, underneath my camera, there are 2 additional things. You can see them like this. There's real estate and armory. I will go through those things and get my camera out of the way when it's relevant. So at the top left, we've got our profit screen. This shows how much starting gold we have, as well as our property values and our on-hand resource values. These will go up throughout the game, hopefully, if we're growing. Property that we own will add to our total bank's worth, as well as the resources we have will add to our total bank's worth and gold. This is our current costs. Since we don't actually have a branch open yet and we have no employees, we do not currently have costs. If at any point in time in the game, when we end our turn, if we go next move, if this number is bigger than this number, we lose. Just flat out, you lose now. So we don't want to lose. There's also a couple of other lose conditions. We'll talk about those in a second. We have a science tech tree, very kind of similar to, if you've played Civilization before, this is going to look familiar. It kind of expands on and on and on it goes, so that's kind of nifty. Kind of goes like that. We have a stats screen. It shows us all of our different competing banks. We are, of course, at the bottom, and since this is hard mode, it looks to me, when I played it initially, it was medium. Hard mode looks to me like everyone starts wealthier than you. Well, awesome. Of course they do. And we also have this little line here that says outside the big game, total cost less. Right now it's a 0, but as the game progresses, this number will go up. And if your bank's total valuation ever falls below this line, you're done. So that's another lose condition. Right now it's 0 because it's the first turn, but that will increase quite quickly. So you have to keep ahead of that too. Okay, there's a war screen here. This will show us if there's any countries at war. And there's a countries list here, which will show us any countries that we have investments in and all the different types of offers and things that are available. The capital button here, this allows us to come back to our capital. There's an exchange screen that allows us to do trade and also to see current prices of different types of luxuries and industry and how those prices fluctuate throughout the game and how our actions influence those is all yet to be determined for me because I haven't played it enough, but that will happen throughout there too. We can sell and buy with this. And then we have the map screen. And you're playing throughout the entire Eastern and Western world. Even though we're starting in the East as our thing, we can branch out and start anywhere we want. So we can start in the West if we choose to do so. How this would work, let me just look at Japan really quick, because that's what our bonus is. I don't think we can start in Japan. I don't think we can even start in Japan. No, we can't start in Japan. We will want to work our way towards Japan, though, because we get bonuses for that. So, yeah, so we could actually maybe start here in Kamatka, but it's kind of far away. I would rather start someplace where we can actually engage in war. War is a huge part of this game. And you want war because, again, evil bank want to express themselves, want to influence wars and control the board. And that's how you control the board, through war a lot of times. So maybe we'll start, you know what? I don't know if chicken is here still, but maybe we'll start in Thailand if we can find a country. That's 4. So the number I'm looking at is this ×1, which is actually pretty cool. Western Central Thailand. That's a thing we could start in. Yeah, ×1. Some of these places are ×4, ×4 here, ×3 here. And what that is the number of regions that this area has. I believe it's called regions. I might be wrong, but we'll see that in a second. The more regions they have, the more it costs to establish a license. If I click this, there's 4 regions here. Yep. And it's going to cost me $103,700 to open a new branch here. I don't have that much money, so I can't. But if there's only one region, which is what this one is, it's cheaper for the license, $27,000. So I think I'll probably go with this one. We'll start in Thailand. You can see their estimated agriculture, their production, the amount of real estate investments here, the culture that they're under, the amount of taxes that they charge, as well as any other type of economic indicators such as their military strength, which is relevant later on, probably more relevant. At the beginning, I think we can probably influence their military strength exceptionally well ourselves. We have the maximum amount of investments that are available in this region. This is the total amount of property that's there. as well as the available investments. So this is how much is in the country, and this is how much is available for us to purchase. So currently, none of our banking competitors are invested in this region. So we have no competition. Therefore, competitor investments are zero. This kind of stuff changes throughout the game. We can also see how much profit we're technically making here, which right now is none, and the resources, the luxuries that are available here, which in this case, it looks like topaz, if my memory serves me correctly on what that is. You can see additional details about it there if we want to, but most of this stuff is kind of all in here already, so it's kind of the way it is. This is the region's level. It's considered ×8. I don't even know what that means, but I think this is where we're going to start our branch because it seems like a fairly good area. There's a lot of countries nearby, and we might be able to influence this a bit more if we start here. So I'm going to start here in Western Central Thailand. Cool. We have neutrality as our relationship. They neither hate us nor love us. We're going to influence that ourselves. So this is where we're going to start. Let's go back to the capital. So now that we've started and we have a region, we have ourselves a branch. And now that we have a branch, we can start to influence and expand upon that. But before we can do that, we need to hire employees. We need branch managers. You see a lot of icons on the screen here. All of these icons are identical to the ones at the bottom. So clicking this to manage farms, it'll zoom us in, but it's no different than clicking this button. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is if you do it here, it's gonna zoom you in and then you click it. Sorry, it's gonna zoom you in, upgrade, open the window of the building. Then you get this. If you don't click it here, then you can just click this and you can just open it right away sometimes here too. So it's just a faster thing. I will most likely be using the bottom bar the entire time anyway. So headquarters. This is our headquarters, and this is where we hire our managers. There are 4 different areas to our bank. There's investments, credits, espionage, and guards. Each one of these has its own purposes, but in my opinion, the most important one you want to get into is investments and credits. I think these are the most important ones, and I may even go as far as to say that credits is probably the most important one because this is going to determine how much money you can loan out at a time, and therefore how much money you can get back from your loans. So the better you're doing with credits, the better you're going to do with overall money. Investments is also a good one because you can get higher priced properties and be able to handle more investments the better you're doing there. So these ones here actually have a tendency to be more powerful than credits. Espionage is good for having diplomatic influence and setting up meetings and sort of influencing regions. And guards, these guys, they push fear out. They raise the fear factor. So when people default on their loans or they're not, they're not paying you back, guards are used to, get your money back, if you will. So we can find amateurs, pros, or experts. I'm going to start with amateurs, and it's going to cost me 50 gold every time I hit the search button. And a lot of RNG is going to roll for these guys. So I'm going to let's try to find investments. It doesn't really matter which one because we need all of them. So let's hit search. Okay, so this is the first employee that we found. He has a 3 in his investment skill, a 2 in his loan skill, a 5 in his diplomacy skill, and a 0 in his guard skill. He also awards us 35 science points, and he's going to cost me 160 gold. He's not bad. Diplomacy-wise, he's not bad. He's a 5, so I'm going to hire him. I can move him anywhere I want, but he's probably going to be more suited for espionage. Let's hit this again. We'll find another guy. This one's not that great. I'm going to have to search again. This one has a 6 in espionage. He's better, so I'm going to most likely fire the 5 now. This is just costing me more money, but it's good to get the right employees. It's good to get the right employees. 5 investments is okay. We can hire this. I'm going to research this. I already have a 5 there. I already have a 6 there. I'm really looking for L. I want the L to go up. Okay, 5 in loans is not bad. We can do that for now. This guy's a 6 in guard, so perfect. I'd like to see if I can get a 6 in loans, but it might cost me a bit more than I'm willing to spend. So for now, I'm going to use these 4 employees. So we have, this guy is a 6 in diplomacy. He's going to be good for espionage. We'll put him in this department. Guards, That was this guy down here, Henry Farmer. He's got a 6 in his guard skill. We'll put him in there. Let's go credits. We have this guy. He's a 5 for loans. So we'll put him in here. And then investments. We have a 5 for investments. We'll put you here. So the strength and talents of your managers dictates what you can do for that department. So the better my manager is, the more I can utilize for that department. For example, this guy has a 5 in investments. That gives me a 750 total max investment. Credits. This guy's got a 5 in loans. Gives me a total of 1,000 loans. 6 in diplomacy. I can implement 60 influence. And then for my guards, 6 here generates 120 fear. The better these guys are, the better I can do. And it's really important to get great loan officers and great investors. I might just take a look. Okay, I clicked the button once. I got an 8 for investors here. That's great. So we're going to take this guy. I'm going to bring him out of here. I'm going to fire him. I'm going to put this guy in his place. And you can see now my max investments goes up to 1,200, which is a lot better than I had before. That's going to help me a lot. Hitting this for 50 gold every time isn't that expensive if you can get great quality employees. Part of me actually wants to re-roll this too, but I'm going to leave it for now. Okay, so each of my departments has like people in those departments now. We're fully staffed. Our credit screen shows us any loans that we might be able to dish out. Currently, there are none because we haven't advanced a turn yet. Guards, this will show me any overdue loans and what my guards are doing about it. Investments, these are investments that we might be able to, or a bank, right? So we want to take over property, farm. We want to invest in resources. There's a lot of different things we can diversify for. And then these 4 windows here, I'll get my camera out of the way. These 4 windows here, we can manage the farms that we currently possess, any industry we currently possess, luxuries that we're currently producing, and real estate that we're currently producing. And then there's the armory. And the armory is used to take some of your industry and create weapons from it. And we're going to want to create a lot of crossbows and halberds. These are just the better weapons to get. We're going to want to create these because their price is higher per unit. So 4 instead of 3. So we're going to focus all of our resources we get into creating crossbows and halberds. Because if we can do that, then we can provide our friends with weapons, and so they can win wars. Not just our friends, though. We want to take a look also at what our competing banks are investing in, and we want to invest against their interests so that we can overtake them, because our little window as to how big the bank or how small a bank is allowed to be to stay in the game is going to keep moving up. So as long as we are ahead of our competitors, they're going to get eliminated before us. The overall goal, of course, being number 1. So, okay. That's a synopsis of the game. I'm going to advance 1 turn. Now you see it's January, it's winter. When you advance a turn, you're actually moving to the next season. So this is going to move 3 months when I hit this button. So we'll do that. Now we're in April. Okay, now we also have these tasks. And as we do the tasks, we're also going to be rewarded for them. So hire a diplomat. We did that already. It's pretty easy stuff. It's kind of going towards the... Well, yeah, you're kind of moving toward as a progress for like a tutorial wise, right? So this is our task. Currently, it says it wants us to issue 3 loans. So let's take a look and see what we have for credits. Currently, there's 1 loan here. It's at a 5.8% interest rate. It's always for the maximum that we can produce. So as we get higher amounts of loans that we're able to dish out, every loan that we go to offer will be at the max price, at least so far from what I can tell, right? So there is 3 moves. This is how long they're going to be paying us the interest on it. The more moves, the better, as long as they don't default. Right? This loan, with this particular person that we're lending money to, or entity that we're lending money to, there's a 41.7% chance that they're going to default on this loan. Now, I'm going to issue this because it goes with the task, and technically the odds are in our favor, but that's a pretty high percentage chance of default. If I was short on cash, I may not do that, but I'm going to go ahead and offer that loan. We have 20,000 gold left. Let's see if there's any investments available. Okay, currently there is this small topaz mine. There's this mine out there. We can purchase it for 525 gold. Its base price is 551, so we're getting this at a slight discount too. That's not bad. It's going to generate topaz as a luxury resource. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. It's small, but it's there. Now that we're generating that, we can also take a look at our luxuries, and we can see that per turn, we're going to be generating 5 topaz supply. We can use that to sell later and exchange it for money. And as the game progresses, we're going to want to invest in higher priced things and more influence type things as we go. Let me also go to the espionage screen. This is our current country that we're in. We have a branch in this country. And what we want to do is we want to use our influence that we're generating to increase our relationship with the country that we're in. Because once we do that, if our influence with that country goes up high enough, we can then influence that country. We can tell that country to, for example, go to war with another country, and we can pay them for that, and we can influence that, and we can assure them victory. Hey, if you're interested in war here, we can assure you victory, and they'll believe us and they'll work with us on that. So I'm going to raise our influence by scheduling a meeting. By doing that, it lowers how much influence I have banked up. Every turn, we're going to put more influence into our little bank of influence here. And we'll have more added to that depending on our skill of our espionage guy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, as long as there's no wars yet. Okay. Next move. Same thing here. Doesn't look like they defaulted yet. There's 2 more turns for that. But they haven't defaulted yet. They're paying us per turn. This is just a house. So real estate investment, they're going to pay us rent. It might be worth it, but we're also purchasing it at a little bit of a premium. Man, I'm not really sure I want to invest in that right now. I would like to focus my money on more valuable things for myself. There's no loans to offer today, and I don't believe there's any wars going on yet, so we'll go next turn. Still no loans? Really? Come on. I mean, I don't know what hard mode does. Okay, now this one here, this is a logger's hut, and they're generating wood. Wood is a very good thing. We want that. I'm going to purchase this. Now, what wood is, it's its industry. It means it's going to generate resources every year, and it's going to automatically convert those resources because I chose to do so here when I set up the auto production. It's going to automatically take that wood resource and create crossbows with it. And that's a pretty powerful thing. We want to create as many weapons as possible because we want to influence wars. That's how we're going to end up winning this. Let me go with next move here for now. I can't believe this hasn't gone up yet. We are really weak, though. Look at these guys. They're like already 100,000. Ah, they defaulted. They're not paying us. So we can choose to either recover the funds. It'll take 1 turn. Or we can take the property. I don't know if it's necessary to take the property. There's a limited amount of properties we can hold with our current level. So I'm going to try to just recover the funds for now because I don't really care too much about the real estate property. I don't really want the stone either, to be honest. So let me... There's no credits? There's no loans to dish out, huh? Weird. I'm going to schedule a meeting here really quick just to raise that influence. So we took the wood that we produced from our industry building that we own, and it made 36 crossbows. Cool. Wars. There's actually a couple of wars going on in the world right now. We can take a look at those if we'd like to. So this is the war screen on some of these different wars that are happening between countries. Do we have any competing banks on both sides? Our competing banks may influence wars to their interests as well. And if we can see that there's a bank that's invested in a war, in this case, there's another war going on here. If we see any of our competitors with an interest in a war, we may want to oppose them and influence it on the other side to help the other side win, and that lowers the value of their investments. So if, for example, if one of our competing banks had property in Denmark, we may see that bank over here trying to influence that war to help Denmark. But if we can help England to win that war, then all the properties in Denmark, when they lose the war, will drop in value. I think it's 50%, so it's like half value, which means our competing banks lose value, which is what we want. We want all of our competitors to lose as much value as possible. Currently, none of our competitors are invested in that, and there's no good investments for me to put my money in yet because it's not giving me anything good that I want. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So, according to rumors, the minimum acceptable value of banks will soon change to 1,000. So, This value is going to go up next turn. And if you are under 1,000 at the start of that turn or at the end of that turn, you lose, right? We don't have a problem with that yet, but that's the way it's going to work. Okay, another topaz mine. I'm going to grab that. Any investments that we can, no loans. That sucks, but okay. We have $14,000. Let's get espionage again. We want to schedule another meeting. What I'm hoping to do with the meetings, and our influence is kind of gaining a little slow, but what I'm hoping to do with the meetings is to unlock this button, Start War. We want to do this. We really want to do this, but I have to have my relationship high enough with them in order to influence them to do that. So I have to wait for that. Still the same number of wars. There's nothing really to worry about exchanging there. Speaking of exchange, luxuries. So we have topaz. We don't have a whole lot because our mines are pretty small, but we have some. The current price for that on the market is 9.9 gold per unit. Next turn, we'll see that it's gonna estimated to go up to 10.2. Then it might drop to 9.9 and then 10.2 again. So we don't want to sell it now. If we can wait one turn, we'll get more money for our product. And this will most likely increase over time because that's how it works. Usually with luxury resources, as they begin to get mined out, they become more valuable, right? So if we hoard the resources for ourselves for a little bit, we may be able to sell this at a premium in several turns. Speaking of turns, you may be wondering about like the time limits in the game and how long it can go. In addition to having to beat this line, as it's going to move up in cost and you have to stay ahead of this line, there's also a finite number of turns in the game. In this case, the game will end in 295 more turns. So you have 300 turns to win. If you don't win in 300 turns, you lose, basically. That's another lose condition. 300 turns. Okay, so I'm going to go next move. It's going to give me these little tips as we go, but I don't need them. I'm looking for weapons investments, honestly. I wish that wasn't so RNG based, but it kind of is. Here's another loan, 34% to default. Hopefully they don't. Let me take a look really quick at a war screen. There's an extra war going on between Japan and Korea. Japan is going to win. So how can you determine who's going to win a war? So far, it looks to me like the country that has the biggest army cost is the one that will win. Whoever has the bigger stick, basically, is what it looks like. So Japan's scheduled to win this war in 4 turns. Unless another bank comes in and influences it on this side, then Korea may win. But as it stands right now, with no help from anyone else and no help from allies, Japan will beat Korea. That's what it looks like. Let me go back to the capital. Now, we can also do science. We've been generating science points, right? As we hired all those people in different branches, we've been accumulating science points, and we can use those for the research. So currently we have 900. We're going to get 150 per turn based on our people that we have hired, and we can do any of these bonuses. It'll take 0 turns, so we'll have it right away. If we try to do this one, it'll take about 4 turns. This one will take 16 turns, etc. So I think what I want to do is I want to just generate 100 more influence per turn. Because I want to get to, actually, this one's good. This one's good, 150 gold per turn. Let's do the influence for now. So this will allow us to do 100 influence per turn. And it looks like we can actually afford to do more. So we'll go for the paper gold instead. That's good. Now it will take, vanilla. I don't really have a need for vanilla yet. Amount of investments, properties. Each open region produces 250 gold per turn. That's pretty good. We want that, but it's going to take 13 turns. So for now, let's go down cost of money because we need that anyway to get to this one. Cool. Any weapons investments? Grain farms, not interested. I can be a little bit picky, but we're really going to want to get ourselves into a war situation pretty quick here. I need to issue another loan as well for that task, which I don't have another one available yet. This is a details screen, so we can see all the things that are happening here. I've just expanded it. And if we are ever at war with someone, like someone declares war on our country, we're gonna wanna defend that. Because if they beat us, then we could lose. If we don't have any other places to go, we could lose the game that way too. over time, that becomes less likely because you'll be in more countries. You'll have more branches. So by losing one branch is not the biggest of deal. But since we only have one branch, if someone defeats us in war right now, we lose. So we're going to want to defend ourselves that way. And the way you defend yourself is by selling weapons to a country or by investing money in that country towards their war efforts to help them, with their war score. What does the number mean next to the symbol buttons? Symbol buttons. I don't know what symbol buttons mean. Can you clarify what you're talking about? Are you talking about these over here, or are you talking about these down here at the bottom? So this is the level that stage is. So this is a level 1 establishment. If I upgrade the building, it will become a level 2, a department level. And when you upgrade it, you also increase its capabilities. So for example, at level 2, this building, I'll be able to hire 1 additional staff, which could effectively double or more its capabilities, because its capabilities are entirely dependent on staff. So I could hire 1 more staff and it could double its usefulness, double its effectiveness. So these are all level 1 buildings right now. In order to upgrade, I need the headquarters upgraded first. To get the headquarters upgraded, I need to be in a second region. So I'm working on that, and I can do that through either paying for the license in that region, which is very expensive, or by persuading my home country, which I have not been doing meetings with, and I feel terrible about that. I'm gonna pay a premium just to catch up a bit. There we go. Now we can start a war. So if I want to start a war right now, I could tell my home country, hey, you guys, you should start a war with somebody. Who should you start a war with? Well, anyone who's a neighboring country with you. So let's take a look. Who do we want to start a war with? Maybe Central Thailand. They have a lot more regions here, but I think it might be worth it. Let's go ahead and start a war with Central Thailand. It's going to cost me $10,000 to declare this war. I don't know if I'm ready for the cost involved in that. Give me a second. I don't have enough weapons investments to give me confidence in that yet. So is there any more weapons investments? Freaking grain farms. I hate grain farms. They're like the worst. Freaking grain farms are the worst, man. No loans either. Hard mode must just give you less stuff. I think that's what it is, because I had way more stuff in medium. We're gonna wait to declare the war just yet, because I don't think that's gonna work. I could sell all my topaz for 10.2, but you see that the price is gonna go up in the future, so I might want to wait to sell it. If I need the cash now, I can sell it all, but I don't need the cash right now, so I can wait on that. Let's go with next move. I'm not getting enough influence to really do that. Still no loans. Hard mode. What are you doing with me? Another topaz mine. I can't afford it, but this is a much bigger mine. I can tell because the price is higher. The bigger the mine, the more resources it produces. So having more topaz per turn could be a good thing. Let's see if I can get to a high purchase price here. See if I can afford that. If I go to... I don't want to sell my wood. I don't have any resources there. I don't want any farms. I do want that investment property. I can't believe that my bank has not had to service a loan in over a year. That is insanely bad RNG. Let me go to the war screen. There's a few more people that are in wars right now. Let me see if I can influence any of them. I always prioritize any wars where my competitors are invested. But nobody's invested, so is there any war that I really care about? I don't think so. Let's just make sure France loses. That sounds like fun. So what I can do is I can join the war, and I want to sell them weapons. I will sell them all my crossbows. All right, so that gets them almost to win, almost. If I invest gold, I'm actually going against what I want to do. Let's sell the topaz that we have. We'll sell all the... Oh, no. Wait, I already sold my arms. Okay. I never want to hit the sell all button because it will also sell all my wood stuff, all my arms and stuff, too. We have 16,000 in gold. If I can put these guys... Whoops, it's over here. If I can put these guys just a little bit higher, I I would really like to actually win this war if I'm going to invest in it. So we need a little bit more money. Let's go with $1,000 is fine. Now, when we do this, when we give them money, they give us something in return, right? We're giving them money, and they in turn allow us to buy a property at a discount. So in this case, we purchased a home. We purchased a house at a slight discount. So because we gave them a little bit of cash. So we have something in return for that investment. We're not just giving them money for free. We're a bank. Come on, we never give money for free. But now we have enough cash on hand. We don't. Wow, what the hell? It's because I had to invest. I don't want to sell this, but I actually want that topaz mine. I think if I sell this is giving me 29 per turn. This might be better. This is giving me 29 per turn. If I sell my current topaz mine, and then I invest in this one, I have 1,600 gold left, but I'll now make 161 topaz per turn. So I basically sold my small one so that I could buy a big one. I'm okay with that, I guess. I can't believe there's no loans to give out. That's ridiculous. Okay, somebody started a war with me, and no, never mind. They didn't. So because I invested in this war, they gave me property for my investment. And this means that there's a region I own property in that's currently at war. It doesn't mean that my own home country is at war. It just means that I have property over here. I do not have a license over here, but I have property over there now. So that's all this means when it gives me this big red icon here. Don't be weapons. Okay, it's another stupid grain farm. I cannot believe there are no loans. This is another reason why I need to start a war, because currently there's just no loans in this country. If I can get into another region, then I'll have loans available for those regions, you know? I need to keep saving up weapons so I can start a war. Which is kind of why I want to invest in another topaz. Maybe? This is 3 grand. 5,800 if I can get this one. We're just gonna make more topaz per turn, basically all this is. I have enough money to loan this, and it's a decent loan, but if I loan this, I now have less gold on hand than my costs. So I cannot end this turn. If I do, I lose. So I cannot end this turn until I have more money here. So let's go to the war screen. Okay, now this war, we have one of our competing banks. They've invested in this war. They have property in this war, quite a substantial amount actually. But this country that they're at war against actually has a lot of allies, and so they've already pushed the army cost over. I can join on this side too if I want to, not because I think they're going to lose, but because I need capital to stay afloat. So I'm going to sell the weapons I have. And this gives me just enough to stay afloat for this term. So that's what I'm going to do. I also have generated this task, which is going to give me 300 additional fear, which should help with people not defaulting, hopefully. Yeah, okay, let's go to next turn. Congratulations, the country you supported won the war, I know. So now I can go to real estate. And this is a property that I was given, but I can't use it. I don't have a license or anything like that in that country, so I can't really use it. But what I can do is I can sell it. So I'm just going to sell it. It gives me a little bit of cash. Another grain farm, which sucks. And I have enough to make this loan, but there's a really high chance of default. I'm going to do it anyway, though, because if it doesn't default, it's good money. There's a good reward for that task. I need to produce 500 iron. Be nice if it'd give me an iron mine. Iron mine would be really nice to have right now, but it doesn't give it to me. It just keeps giving me stupid grain farms. We're making 209 topaz per turn, though, which is good for the exchange. I can keep getting money this way, which, 10, it's about the same anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sell this. Keeps me afloat a little bit. Also allows me to do a loan next turn if possible. Hi, Thanny's welcome in. Okay, so now we have, come on. Okay, wood is good. I'll take the wood. Let's make sure our influence stays up. I keep forgetting to do this, which is a bad thing. Let me just keep hitting this. I still want to start a war, but I don't want to do the war until we have a good amount of weapons on hand. Because if I start a war and I lose, then I just lose the game. So I don't want to lose the game. That's preferably I would like to not lose the game. Let's reduce our manager salaries by 8%. We can add 70 rank points, or we can generate 500 work per turn. That sounds kind of good. So our industry goes based off our work amount. So if we increase our amount of work that we have, we should generate more. Hit this button again. And it's a clicker game, right? It is a clicker game, but there is some tactics to it. If you can get loans, for Christ's sake, the damn thing's not giving me any. It's pretty reliant on RNG. 143 wood. I'm gonna go one more turn. So now the minimum bank level is 5,000. So as long as our total value is above 5,000, we get to stay in the game. And right now we are, so. I have never seen so many consecutive grain farms in all my life. Like, that is an insane amount of grain farms that they're offering me. It's crazy. Everything is goddamn grain. There's more wood. I would like to get that. Let's sell our topaz. See if we can get enough money for that. Oh, yeah. Sure can get that. The more wood we can gather, the faster we're going to generate weapons. And the weapons are a huge source of income for us. This is a low chance of default. I like it. Let's take that. More gold is kind of meh. Rents are kind of slow. I like this here. We have a lot of countries at war, but I would like to be at war. How's my weapons currently? What is this worth? 424. What is this worth? Let's go to a war screen really quick. If I just join a random war and I sell weapons, what is this worth? 4,000. That's not quite enough for what I want to do. Not quite enough for what I want to do. One more turn. I think by turn 20, I have to be in a war. Or I'm going to fall way behind. Oh, it's an iron mine. Oh, I got to have that. Hold on. Exchange. We got to sell our topaz here. That's an iron mine. It's not a very big one, but it's still iron. I need it. So the iron will make halberds, and halberds are worth a lot more money per unit. So, like, halberds are great. Let's go to the next turn here really quick. No loans. Frickin' unbelievable. Espionage. Let's increase our... No loans. They haven't defaulted, so that's good. This is a very tiny property. Not interested. My weapons I have on hand, I've got quite a few weapons on hand now, and I think this might be a good time to start a war. When you go to war, you have 4 turns or 5 turns usually to decide the winner. Other banks can come in against you as well if they would like to harm you or they have investments in the country that you are going into. But the biggest notable thing is that your industry shuts down when you're at war, and you cannot issue any loans or invest in any new properties while you're at war because nobody wants to touch you, right? There's this uncertainty. What if you lose the war? Nobody wants to go anywhere near a bank that's at war. So when we go to war, we're gonna stop producing stuff. So that's why you have to kind of be conscious of that and time it right. Still no frickin' loans. Super tiny wood. I just cannot believe that it's grain farms and no loans. What is this hard mode? I think I have enough weapons to win a war right now. And I would really like to because I need to get another region like ASAP. I'm progressing really slowly right now. So I think I'm going to do it this turn if nothing else. 500 iron produced. We'll take that extra money. Investment properties. Stupid grain farms. Here's a loan. That's good. We'll issue that and then go to war. So we can collect on our loans while we're at war, but we can't issue any new ones. So that's what we're going to do. We have 7,300 gold in the bank, and we have a pretty decent stockpile of weapons now. So now it's time to influence our home country to go to war. Let's go ahead and tell them to start a war. I'm going to go after Central Thailand. I think that's a good fit for us. Pays 14,000. Now it's more expensive. No. No, it's more expensive. I don't have the money on hand. I can go after a smaller country, but I'd rather go after the big one. I would much rather go after the big one. More gold per turn would be nice. Damn it. This is way too slow. Way too slow. I could sell some weapons to another war, but I want to sell it to my home country, not to another country. I'd love to sell it to my home country, but I need more money in order to start the war. So I guess we're gonna have to go shopping here on the world map. See if our competitors are invested in any other wars, and then we want to invest against them, of course. There's one way down here at the bottom that I can't even see. We don't really have anything, but now this one is happening near us, so maybe we care about the winner here. Central Tenasserim, is that who that is? Yeah. Do we want them to win or do we want Malacca to win? Malacca is currently a 2-region state. Tenasserim is 1. So if we allow these guys to win, then they'll be a 2-region state. No, they'll be a 3-region state, but so will this then. I don't think I necessarily care who wins. What kind of luxuries do you have? This is the furs, I think, or is that furs or saffron? No, this is saffron, so this is like a furs or something. I'm not sure I necessarily care. We'll let the people closest to us win, though, I think. We'll try and sell some weapons here. Let's go with, well, we need at least 3. We need like 3,400 for them to win. So if we go like this, we can assure their victory. Unless anyone else comes in. They do have some other participants, but we'll see if we can get them to lose. That gives us money, but not enough money to start a war, though. We need to sell them a bit more weapons than that. Let's go maybe like this. Okay. So we have a little bit more cash on hand. I think next turn, we'll probably have enough cash on hand then. As long as none of our loans default, we'll have enough cash on hand, I think, to start the war then. So let's go next move. I can't believe how many grain farms there are. It's absolutely insane. This is a different region, though, right? I'm used to the West region, right? So, yeah. How about checking for new staff or better one? It costs me money to do that, and I would have to replace my existing staff. So the amount of skill that person would have to offset the cost of searching for them, and I can't know how much it's going to cost me to search for them. But if I can get into another region, which is what I will do if we win the war, then I can upgrade these buildings, and then I can hire new people anyway. So I'll add new people at that point. So I'm going to be searching for them anyway. I would rather not replace somebody now. I don't think we have quite enough weapons for me to secure a victory at the moment. Now the minimum bank level is going up, and I mean we are gaining wealth, but not fast enough. Another iron farm, I'll take that. Or iron, whatever, iron mill, iron mine. Espionage, let's make sure we can keep the war button here. How much is it? 14,000, we have it in the bank. You know what? That's gonna be enough. Let's start this. Unless the price went up again, it should be enough to start this. Go. Okay, we are now at war with Central Thailand. We must win this war or we lose the game. So let's take a look. Okay, they're only at 10,000, good. I thought they might be more stronger because they have 4 regions, but we can actually do this. We have no money, we can't invest money, but we can sell weapons. So let's join the war, sell weapons, and we want to sell all of our weapons to these guys. We want a massive, massive victory here, just to dissuade any other banks from coming in here. I don't want to invest in that, right? 3 turns and our country wins. We also have some extra base gold now, so we're not going to lose because we sold the weapons. But our industries are disabled. They will not produce anything while we are at war, and no new investments or loan offers will come at us either. So we basically just can progress 3 turns. We have money though, so if another bank decides to come in, and again, there won't be anything because we're at war, so we're not going to see anything. We can still influence our state though. Still have meetings and stuff. Also, I think yes, this mine also stops operating, but we have topaz and we can still sell it. We have 1,000 units of topaz on hand, and this is the best price it's going to have before it starts dropping again. So you know what? Let's sell it all. We have 26,000 bucks now. One more move, and I think the war is over next turn. Let's double check and make sure nobody's invested against us. Okay, nobody invested against us. Good. We can still do science stuff per turn too, I think. I thought we could, but maybe not while you're at war. I don't remember. We're not gonna have any loans. I keep looking at that because it's habit, but let's make sure we get the meeting and we'll go next move. Okay, war is over and we win. Now that means this country is now also part of ours. The purple, right? We are now in 2 regions. So because we're in 2 regions, we can now upgrade our facilities. We are now in 2 regions. Awesome. Upgrade our facilities. This gives us the check mark in a lot of other places, and we can start upgrading these buildings. First thing I want to upgrade is our credit screen. We have a $1,000 loan here. I'm going to issue that, but actually, let's take a look at investments really quick too. I want both of these things. I hate this. I feel like it's a bug sometimes when it does that. I don't know this, but there's 2 investments offers right there. But if you accept one, it closes the window and the other one's not available anymore. So when you have 2 that you want, you should choose one. Choose the one that you want more because you only get one. It's kind of weird. I feel like it's a bug in the game, but it does that sometimes. So we have to be conscious of that. Let's go ahead and upgrade our facilities. So credits, upgrade this building will cost me 445 gold, but it's going to let me hire another manager. Staff 1 out of 2. So let's search for another person with high loans. That's 8 loans. Excellent. Bring it in. Now our loans are 2,600 each. That's good. Investments. Want to do the same thing here. And let's search for another manager for this. Currently we have a guy with 8. That's pretty good. We could search for more expert level stuff. It costs us a little bit more per search, but we might get better results. That's not bad. It's a 7. For an expert level, though, I would expect a lot higher than that, though. So let's just keep looking. That's a 10. Sounds high. I think for expert level searches, though, we can get better. I'm getting a bit greedy here. He's costing me a lot. Ooh, that was an 11 loan guy. I should have done that. My gosh, you're costing me so much money. RNG. RNG. You're disappointing me. 12, thank you. Okay, I should have done that other one though, because it was an 11 loan. I could have replaced one of these guys. A 17 loan, thank you, mine. Let's get rid of Lawrence, institute you. And that's an 8. Let's get a little higher. I'm getting greedy here. 9, nah, I want higher than that. 11 guard is okay. This guy's okay for replacing our guard. A 10 guard. Okay, we can hire... I don't really need more than 1 guard, though. I think guards are the weakest part of this game, to be honest. That's a 10 loan. What was I looking for? I was looking for loans, right? I'm pretty sure I was looking for loans. Yeah, let's replace you with the 10 guy. Okay. So now our total loans we can dish out is 5,400 each, and our investments go up to 3,000. Perfect. That'll work for me. Do you want to upgrade espionage? I think so. We want more influence. So let's go ahead and upgrade this as well. And we can search for somebody else that has great diplomacy. We'll go expert here too. Why not? I already have a 10. I'm going to hire him. It's fine. Okay. So that's going to be it. I'm not going to worry about guards for now because they're only really useful if you default on your loans. But now that we're in 2 regions, we should also get the ability to have more opportunities for loans. There's more people available that might want loans. So that's great. Let's go to next region. And we have 2 loans available now. In each of those loans, 5,400. So awesome. More people equals more loan capabilities. But it also means more money leaving our pockets every turn too. So we have to be more mindful of how much money we have on hand. Which leads me to investments. I probably should do investments before I do loans. In case there's like a really good iron mine or something. Okay, somebody defaulted. That sucks. This is a logger's hut. I actually want to take that property. Because that's going to add to my wood production, which will be nice. Charlie's greed is getting the best of him. That's what an evil bank would do, right? Very greedy. I dig the music of the game too. The music's pretty cool. Delicate situation. Reduces the country running skills cost by 10%. Amount of investments in property plus 10,000. Thank you. Not interested in any of those properties. Espionage. We're generating more influence per turn now, so we can hit this much harder every turn. Eventually, we'll be able to unlock these, which isn't really that relevant right now. But if we have other banks in the region that we're also operating in, we can influence this region to reduce how much other banks' properties are worth. Suspend other banks' activities. So the more influence we have over our home countries, the better. This is a decent loan. Let me check investments first. It's just grain farms and shit. Fine, we'll get this. I'm sure grain farms have their purpose, you know? Like, I'm sure they're not bad per se, but I'm really wanting to focus on weapon production instead. How is my luxuries doing? Okay, by taking over that other region in the war, we actually got a few extra resources from that. And I'm just going to go ahead and sell them so I don't have this looming with like 2 supply on things. Looks like the price of topaz is going up, so we can keep hoarding it for a while. We're still in last place. Man, hard mode. These guys are growing fast. We should probably look at influencing some wars. Lowering their value if we can. Are there any wars in which our competitors are in? Okay, we got this one here, but these guys are already going to win. The Papal States, the Pope's got it going on, so he's fine. This one here, same thing. These guys have a lot of allies, so they're going to take down that bank too. Cool. Anything else we can go with? Got a war happening over here. I don't really care about the outcome. Might want to start another war over here soon. It'd be nice if someone would start the war with me, because then I don't have to pay for it, and I still can take them over, provided I have enough weapons on hand. Because the countries will just look at the other country's stats. They don't know that there's a bank that's going to invest against them in the war. So they can start the war with this country that I'm in. But I think it's like the type of country, like, you know, people aren't necessarily into going to war with Thailand. Okay, now that loan went out. I'm barely over amount, so I need to be cautious of this. These are just stone mines, so it's fine. Let's make sure that our influence stays up. I could probably just go next turn here. It's fine. I didn't get any money, which probably means I don't have any current loans outstanding, which is weird since I'm pretty sure I do. I'm not sure why I didn't. Oh, they're paying it back in one turn. That's why. I don't really want real estate yet. I still have I'm banking up a pretty good weapon hold right now, so let's go with one more turn, and then we can take a look at... Yeah, they paid back the loan. Good. Grain farms. Freaking, I don't know, man. I feel like there's an abnormal amount of grain farms in this difficulty. I feel like they're just, like, everywhere. Because they cost me money to keep sowing the fields, and they also don't really generate a whole lot of wealth for me. This is the highest price we can get for a while, so let's sell all of our topaz. Make sure we keep our influence up, and still no loans. If the enemy suddenly attacks the regions in which our property is located, then it is always best to have a small stock of weapons in the warehouse. Exactly. Minimum level is now 15k. Not that we care. Like, the nearest bank is double our value. These guys are going up super fast right now. Great, this guy defaulted. Perfect, awesome, love it. He didn't pay for it. Takes us an extra turn to recover it. Grain farms for days. You upgrade industry in any of your regions. I wonder what upgrading industry is. We need a level 4 headquarters to do that. To get a level 4 headquarters, we need to be in 4 regions. Let's add... So if we get this, it upgrades our building headquarters level by 1. It'll just do it. So I think probably what I want to do is get into 4 regions and then get this so that I get the free upgrade after already being upgraded once, right? Receive 3% of IMF. That's good. Eventually, we're going to have this. This is our Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve is not founded yet. It takes a little bit of time in-game for that to happen. And once it happens, then it will start accepting investors in it. And if your bank controls half of the IMF, you win. Like, you have control of the world, right? Because you have majority rules. So you also want to get control of half of that. And it will auction off. It kind of doesn't like a timer where it says, this is how much is available right now. This is for 3% of the IMF. We're auctioning 3%. And it will do this timer. It'll start the bidding at like $300,000. And it will work its way down. And the first person that says, I want it, gets it for whatever price it lands on. So you want to wait to get it cheaper, but if you wait too long, then someone else grabs it. So it's kind of an interesting system. It's like a reverse auction. Instead of saying who will pay the most and working up and overbidding you, instead it just takes the price and drops it until somebody says they want it. Which is kind of nice, if you think about it. Like, that'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Like to do that's a really good loan. High interest rate plus 0.5% chance of default. I'm tempted just to buy damn grain fields so it'll stop bugging me about grain fields. But I don't know if that's how that works. Industry boom. The constant funds raising has caused an industrial growth. So there's industrial growths in these regions. I'm not in any of these regions, so I don't care to invest in it. At least I think that's how that works. I'm not actually sure. Let's sell our topaz right now. We'll go one more. Get the meeting. Okay, now we have enough influence to reduce costs for ourselves. Property of your competitor will lose its value. There you go. Investments will be available in the region and also suspend competitors' bank activities. I don't think I can actually do this because I have no competing banks available. There's some wars, so let's see if we can invest in any. These guys are already going to lose. Already going to lose. These guys are already going to lose. Yeah, so you guys are already going to lose. I like how all my competitors are already on the losing side. Aside from these guys, now this war, there's one turn left. My competitor is here. They also have a lot of allies. Can we influence this war? I think we can. So if I join this war and sell weapons, we need to sell about $10,000 worth of weapons. Okay. That's a lot. So we can go about like this. Now, just like that, we came in and France will win the war because we sold them a whole bunch of weapons. That's all it takes. Our competitor will suffer as a result, as will the allies of the losing bank. That's nice. Whoa, hello. So Bank Gironde is actually playing both sides of the field here, which is kind of interesting. They have more investments in this side, but these are a lot of competitors. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let that go. Yeah. Hey, Friendly Axe. How are you, man? Welcome in. Investments. Okay, that's wood. We want to grab that if we can, and then we'll issue this loan. So as the game progresses, you get into more regions, you unlock more technologies, you'll start to have people attacking you more often, and it'll go back and forth, and this is kind of what the game starts out as. I feel like it progresses, you know, it ramps up as it progresses through. But it's kind of this is sort of the premise of the game. And I think for the purposes of like the YouTube video, this is a good place to stop for our Let's Try for this. So if you like this game, you can find out more information about it and get it for yourself if you'd like to. Link in the description of the video. And we're going to keep playing it here on Twitch for a little bit longer, but this is a good introduction for you guys. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.